my home office this morning thinking about the parting of the Sea of Reeds, which is the passage for this Sunday. But the daily lectionary has us a little before that, in Exodus 14. Now, Exodus 14 is a fascinating chapter because it has a series of conversations between Pharaoh and the Egyptians, between Moses and God, between the Hebrews and Moses. And each of these conversations set forth a difficult theological concept. We return first to the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. As we discussed in a previous video, the hardening of Pharaoh's heart has a lot to do with a contest between I Am and Ra, the deity of Pharaoh and one of the major deities in Egypt. It's uncomfortable for us to look at some of this and think about the ramifications of God intentionally hardening the hearts of an individual who is supposed to have free will, and in so doing, causing the deaths not only of the firstborn in Egypt, but as we shall see on Sunday, the deaths of all the soldiers in the chariots who are charged with chasing after the Israelites. So the hardening of Pharaoh's heart has to do with making a definitive statement about I Am being a powerful deity that demands recognition even from the most powerful person on the planet at that time, who is one of my favorite words is kvetch. It's Yiddish. It means to complain. Perhaps more exactly, it means to whine. And in Exodus 14, we seem to have an example of this from the Hebrew people who are being mobilized to go to the Sea of Reeds and have it parted for them as they go to the land flowing with milk and honey. In chapter 14, we learn that the Hebrews say to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us, bringing us out of Egypt? Is this not the very thing we told you in Egypt? Leave us alone and let us serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness." Wow. But we have to also understand that these are human beings who for generations have been living under the same circumstances. And I think theologically, what we see here is that sometimes the evil we know is more comfortable than the goodness we're promised. And so all of us, in our own ways, have ways that we want to continue serving Egypt, that we're too afraid to take a risk and to follow the lead of God into an unknown place with only the assurances of God and God's prophets for. Thematically, this is a tough chapter. We have the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. We have the kvetching of the people. And then we have these words from Moses, that the people need only have faith in God, be still, and know that the work that God is promising will be done. Well, I think for each of us, we have our Egypt moments. We have our moments when we're in the wilderness. We have our moments when we need the sea to part, and we're pretty certain that it's not going to happen. If we don't take these passages literally, that doesn't mean that we don't take them seriously. There is a theology of liberation here that recognizes that we human beings can be very resistant to the things that are good for us, for steps we can take that will improve our conditions. So Exodus requires action on human beings' parts. The Hebrews have to pack up. They have to follow Moses. They have to go through the parted sea, as we will see on Sunday. But there's also a fair amount of sitting still and being in the present moment, of trying not to let fear and anxiety overwhelm us, and trying to see ourselves and others as God sees us. I hope you like the new format. I'll try to do 2 videos a week and keep them under 5 minutes. Look forward to seeing you again.